Hello, my beloved Easy Does It yoga students. Thanks so much for joining me in my guest room. I thought it might be fun to do a class for you using our homes, because that's where all of us are right now, using our homes and everything that might be available there to create some stretch and strength for ourselves. So I thought I would begin by just doing a little warm-ups the way we always do in class. So you're welcome to join me in coming to a seated position. And just as we always do at the beginning of class, just fully arriving here. So really becoming aware of the fact that you are here in this moment on your surface, whatever you have chosen, wherever you have chosen to do this this class. Maybe it's useful for you to notice your breathing, or maybe it's useful. I look like I have a spider on the top of my spider plant on the top of my head, but anyway, sorry for the digression. There might be a few of those throughout the class, by the way. So just noticing, maybe you should close your eyes. I'm going to close mine so I don't have to look at the spider plant on the top of my head, and just become aware of the fact that we're breathing. We are, hopefully all of us, well and alive in this moment. Totally being supported by our privilege through our beautiful homes and our families and friends and the sunshine that is so immense today. And then we're going to have a few interruptions, and that's Bodhi. So anyway, when you're ready, if you'd like, you're welcome to join me in placing your hands on your knees and hinging forward over the legs, and then circling the upper body. Go lie down. Sorry, folks. Circling the upper body, lie down. Nice big circles. You can let your head go if that feels good to you. And then changing direction. So feel free to join me in changing direction. You can let the head be loose. And then coming to an upright position. Take a moment to cross your right hand over to your left knee and walk your left hand around, and take a moment to just have a little twist. So you can place the hand on the floor and maybe turn and look over that shoulder if that works for you. And maybe feeling the breath into the rib cage and waistline. Pausing here for a moment, and then changing sides and walking the hand around behind you. And then coming back to center, and maybe bringing the feet up onto the floor so they're hip width apart, and flopping the knees from side to side. And you can lift and lower one buttock and then the other, just flopping. And then flopping both knees to the left. Consider bringing the right arm around behind you, walking the hands behind. So you can stay up on your palms here, or you could lower yourself down onto your forearms. Taking a moment, here. Maybe breathing deeply, feeling the twist in the waist again. Another twist. Coming back up onto the palms of the hands and sweeping the arm around behind you and flopping the legs to the other side. And walking the hands around. And then you can come down onto your forearms if you'd like to. You can come down onto your forearms. If that works for you, or you can stay on the palms of your hands and maybe consider looking over the right shoulder. Taking another moment or two. And then sweeping that arm back around and coming to center. And from here, you can see, drawing the soles of the feet together, rocking your hips forward towards your heels, and lifting through the crown of the head, dropping the knees out to either side, and then hinging forward just a little bit. We're just getting an inner thigh stretch here. So, as you feel ready, breathing. Maybe the chin drops if that feels right to you, and you can let yourself fold forward over the legs. Taking a pause. And then lifting the head and lifting the upper body away. Bringing the feet up onto the floor so they're hip width apart. And if it feels right to you, and you can do this, bringing your hips up towards your knees. You can let your head drop back, or you can keep your chin tucked in, your choice. And breathing here. And if you have shoulder issues, this might not feel great. So you might want to just experiment with whether you want to do this or not. And then slowly coming back to a seated position. And bringing the legs in underneath you. And if it feels right, and you can do this sitting back on the heels, for those of you who have been in my class, you know you can lean forward a little bit and just let only so much weight come down onto the heels. Or you might sit on your heels and let your feet flatten out to the floor. Taking a moment here just to open up the feet. And then coming to your knees and turning the toes under now. And once again, sitting back on the heels. Again, leaning forward if you need to. Come onto the fingertips, or sitting back on your heels. Beautiful. And then coming back to your knees. So I don't have blocks here. I may go to the studio if I'm allowed to and get blocks eventually, but right now I don't have blocks. So we can't use blocks here, but bring your right foot up onto the floor, out to the side, and we're going to do a little bit more inner thigh opening. So breathing and bending in, forward and back. And then once you have completed that, extend the leg. So for some of you, this may be challenging, and you might want to have a chair here, which you could. Oh, you can see, can't see me totally here. You might want to have a chair here, and just bring the right arm up. And if you don't have a chair, which I don't, I can get to the floor a little bit. You can bring your fingertips to the floor if you'd like. Nice long extension here. And then coming through center and bringing the right hand to the inside of the right leg and hinging to this side. Again, if you had a block, you could place it to the inside of the knee. But you can also just do a little side stretch here. And then opening up and bringing the right knee in, pausing for a moment, and then bringing the left foot up onto the floor and bending in and out of this side, forward and back, at your own pace, in your own way. And then extending the left leg, right hand can come down onto a chair or onto the floor, and bring the left arm up alongside the head and breathing here. Taking another moment or two. And then bringing that arm up, the hand comes down, right arm comes up, and this hand is just going to come to the inside of the knee. You don't want to put your hand on the knee and put any pressure there. I'm bending my knee because I keep getting a little cramp. And then just letting the hand rest and then arching a little bit to this side. Good. And then coming back to center and bringing that knee in and then coming up onto the feet. So coming into a wide squat, if that's possible for you. Taking a moment here and then lifting the hips, letting the heels drop to the floor. Knees can be bent as much as they need to keep your fingertips to the floor. And take a moment to just tuck your chin deeply. And then as you're ready, you can begin to roll up until you're standing. And I'm going to be adjusting this camera from time to time. So when you're ready, you can come away. I'm going to take you through my house. You can come away from the floor, and I'm going to take you into my kitchen. I love it. My front door is wide open today. I just love it. So happy that the sun is shining and it's starting to get warmer. Okay, so you can bring yourself into your kitchen, and I'm going to bring you into my kitchen, and we're going to figure out how to do easy does it yoga in the kitchen. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a good setup. Here we go. So I'm at my sink, as you can see. So the sink is a good place to begin to do our little warm-up. So begin to circle, feet are hip width apart, circling the hips. I apologize for a barking dog. We're going to have all sorts of that sort of thing going on maybe throughout this video. Okay, so circling. You get to decide how far you want to be away, and then changing direction. Nice big circles. And you can pull away from your sink, right? There are some things we probably won't be able to do, but many things we will. Okay, and then come back to center. And I have a very narrow kitchen between my two counters. So I'm going to do a flat back here, feet directly underneath. My hips are almost touching my other cabinet. So I'm not going to be able to extend my leg here, but the way I'm going to manage this is I'm going to do it from here. So I'm going to lift the right leg back, and I can hold on to both my counters, so you can adjust to your kitchen, extending. And then from here, stepping forward, bringing the foot, the knee right above the ankle. So now you can keep your hand on your counters, either one, and bring the right arms up if that's available to you to do, and sinking into the hips, to that front knee, and breathing into warrior, taking another moment here, and then bringing the hands down and stepping back so that the feet are side by side, breathing here. Maybe when you're ready, extending the left leg. And if you're holding on to the kitchen, if you've got the availability of the space, just really feeling the extension through that left leg, and then swinging the right leg under it in front. The knee is right over the ankle, and you can hold on with one hand, or you can bring your arms up overhead and sinking into the warrior and breathing here. Taking another moment, bringing the hands down, and then stepping back again. So I'm going to change my position again, because now I'm extended here. And then from here, lifting away and dropping the hips forward. So in this position, if you remember, the arms are straight, the hips are pressed forward, the heart is lifted, and we're breathing here. Nice, big, arching position. Beautiful. And then walking yourself in and pausing for a moment. Okay, so I'm not going to show you my legs, but I'm going to talk you through this. All of you who have become involved in the Easy Does It work know this movement. Some of you were new, so when you're ready, turning your toes out and bringing your feet, your heels up, coming up onto the ball of the foot, bending into the knees, holding here, breathing, and pressing all the way up and releasing the heels. Coming up onto the ball of the foot, bending into the knees, pausing, releasing the heels, and pressing up. Bending into both knees, lift the heels, and inhaling up. Bending into both knees, pausing, feeling the strength in the legs, dropping the heels, and pressing up. Coming up onto the ball of the foot, bending into the knees. Nice deep knee bend. Release the heels and press up. Bending into both knees, lifting the heels and pressing all the way up. Holding, bending into the knees. Nice deep knee bend. Dropping the heels and straightening the legs. Bending into both knees, lifting the heels. This is the hard one. Inhaling the breath and pressing all the way up. And then releasing down. Okay, when you're ready, bringing the knees together, we're hugging the thighs toward one another and bending into both knees. Lifting the heels, breathing, pressing all the way up. Nice tall, the legs are completely straight here, heels are lifted, bending into the knees. Breathing here, dropping the heels, straightening the legs. Bending into the knees, lift the heels, and come all the way up. Keep those heels lifted, nice high heels. Bending into the knees, breathing, dropping the heels and pressing up. Bending into the knees, squeezing those thighs together, knees together, bending the knees, the heels are lifted, coming all the way up and releasing down. And one more, coming all the way up onto the toes, bending into the knees, releasing the heels and pressing up, and then bending into the knees, lifting the heels and inhaling all the way up, and then releasing down. Okay, so taking a moment to just pause, help yourself to some water if you would like it. And then when you're ready, you could join me in lifting, taking hold of your right foot, so you can take hold of the pant leg. You could also use a tie or something else, and just pulling that leg, that heel towards the buttocks, and then hinging forward. We're working to lift that right knee up. Breathing here. Taking a moment, good. And then when you're ready, crossing the right ankle over the left knee and bending into the left knee and breathing and feeling that maybe in the inner hip. You get to decide how far you want to bend. Beautiful. Coming back to center. And then when you're ready, taking hold of the left leg, drawing the heel in towards your buttocks and hinging forward. Breathing, letting that left leg lift as much as it will. And then coming back to center, taking the left ankle, crossing it over the right thigh, or just above the knee, and then bending into that right knee. And coming into what's commonly called the figure 4 stretch. You can do it on the floor, you can do it standing. It's a great stretch for the hips. And then come back to center when you're ready and take a pause. Okay, what do we got next? So on the sink, left hand on the sink, or you can do right hand, doesn't matter. The closer you are to the sink, the more stretch you have on the side of your body. Right arm comes up, and then hinging out. And breathing. Feeling the opening in the ribs. Taking another moment. And then opening up. And turning to the other side. And you can see this on the back. And depending on how far your feet are to the sink, the arch gets larger the closer your feet are to the sink. And breathing. Feeling the stretch through the side body. And then coming back to center. That felt great. Okay, how we doing? Hope everybody's doing well. All right, so I haven't experimented with this, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to try. So you get to decide whether you want to have your hands together, shoulder width apart, or wider. We're going to do 25. The farther you are away from your sink or whatever, if you're using a countertop or whatever. I like the sink because I can wrap my hands around it. That's very handy. So when you're ready, let's do 1. Keeping the head and the upper body in line with one another. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Boy, I can tell I haven't done this in a while. Stepping forward, dropping it into the hips. I'm still here, but I'm down low, straightening out my arms, stretching out my arms. And then coming back to center. Shaking the arms out and preparing for the next series. You can choose the position of your hands, step your feet away, however much feels right to you. And then we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, wow, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. That's 50, yes. And dropping down, taking a moment. And then when you're ready, coming to standing again, shaking out your arms and taking a pause for a moment. I just hope you all are safe and well and taking good care, and on days like today, getting outside and doing yard work or taking a walk, and that you're all thriving during this very odd, strange set of circumstances we're in. Okay, so next we are going to do the leg work. So if you need a chair, by all means, bring a chair in. For those of you who don't need a chair, and you can use your sink. You could use the countertop too. I like the sink. I like my sink anyway, to do this. So I'm going to just tilt a little bit. Okay. So when you're ready, bending into your right knee and bringing it up so it's in line with your kitchen counter or whatever surface you're using, and then extending the leg out. And then we're hinging forward and just getting that big stretch through the legs. Pausing here for a moment and then extending the leg back. Again, we're not forcing it straight. We're dropping the head and chest down towards the leg. Breathing. Sinking in. Maybe if this is an easy stretch for you, maybe extending your head out towards the towards your toes. And then from here, drawing the belly in and lifting the arms up overhead. Nice long stretch. Breathing. And then hinging down. Once again, dropping the head and chest down towards the leg. Using your breathing. Taking another moment here, drawing the belly in and drawing the upper body up overhead, bringing your hands down to your sides, drawing that belly in now and bringing the foot away from your surface and bringing it back to the floor. And pausing for a moment. And then when you're ready, bringing the weight onto the right leg, bringing the left knee up to counter height, and then placing it on the counter, bending into that knee for the first inner thigh and front of the thigh stretch here on the right leg now. Breathing, taking a moment, and then extending back, dropping the head and chest towards the leg. You don't have to get any particular place or make the legs straight. You can just find out where you land and breathe. So we're drawing the belly in here and we're lifting the arms up. And then from here, hinging forward. Taking another moment. And then lifting all the way up. Good. And then bringing the hands back down, drawing the belly in, bringing the foot away from the floor, and bringing the leg down. And taking a pause. Taking a pause for a moment. All right. All right. So if you'd like to do some balancing in your kitchen, bringing one hand to the bar, you can have just one finger on the counter. You can choose where you'd like to do this. Lifting through the crown of the head. And bringing the right knee up and then turning the foot in towards the ankle, the calf, the knee or the thigh, called the tree pose. Bringing the right arm up and then experimenting with bringing the left hand away. So you can keep the one finger on the surface, or you can experiment with both hands being up overhead. You have to have, don't do this on carpet, you have to have a hard surface underneath in order to actually balance at all. So you can experiment with wiggling and wobbling, finding something to put your eyes on that doesn't move. You can do it out in front or down on the floor. And then when you feel complete, releasing down and releasing the leg and shaking out the supporting leg. Good. So doing this on the other side, I'm going to take hold of my countertop here. So bringing the left knee up and then turning it to so that the sole of your foot is at the ankle, the calf, the knee, or the thigh. And it doesn't matter where you place it. And then bringing the left arm up. And then when you're ready, you can either bring your right arm up or keep the finger to the floor, using your eyes to focus on something out in front, about 6 feet or so, something that doesn't move. Breathing and wiggling and wobbling. And wiggling and wobbling quite a bit. Feel free to keep a fingertip to the surface if that's helpful to you. Taking another moment or two. and then releasing down and releasing the leg. And again, taking a pause. All right. So when you're ready, place your left hand on the counter and turn your left foot to face your cabinets. And then step the right foot out so that it's facing forward. Make sure that your left heel is midpoint to the right foot. And then the arms can come to the horizon, and then you can reach out, place your hand on your sink or counter, and lift the left arm overhead. And you can turn and look at the hand up above, or you can look down at the foot, or somewhere in between is fine. You could also experiment with bringing that arm right overhead and feeling the full stretch of this triangle pose. Taking another moment, you can experiment with bringing the arm over the head, feeling the stretch. And then slowly, as you feel ready to, coming upright. And then bringing the legs in underneath you. And then if you're ready to, when you're ready to, turning the right foot forward. Left foot is facing front. Left foot is facing out to your cabinets. Let it be a nice long stance so that you have enough space to really, for your body to really feel this. Front heel is midpoint to the back foot. Arms come to the horizon. A nice long reach with the right arm. Left hip is pressing out. The hand can come right down onto the counter if that works for you. Arm is overhead. You can look up at the hand above, down at the foot, and you can also experiment with bringing that arm right overhead. So bringing it right alongside the head if that works and is available to you. Taking a moment, breathing. Just feeling the stretch of this triangle pose, taking another moment, and then gradually coming to an upright position, bringing the foot in and bringing the legs in underneath you. And just noticing how the body's feeling. I can tell that my body has missed this. Okay. So I'm gonna try this and see how it works. I didn't experiment it with ahead of time, but I think it's gonna work. So if you'd like, you can clasp your hands over the sink, walk your heels back. The farther your heels back, the more arch you get. Make sure you've got a good grip. I don't want anybody falling forward. And then dropping the hips forward. So we can't do this in the other direction because we have no way to grip underneath. But you can certainly release out this way. And breathing, drawing the shoulder blades together. Feeling the heart opening and lifting. And then drawing the hips back towards your sink or counter and tucking the chin, folding forward. And pausing here. And then slowly rolling yourself up and taking a pause. And noticing how good that feels to have that front stretch. I've had thoughts about us meeting outside. I've been looking around at places that I walk with my dog that we might be able to meet outside. I'm not sure if any of you are up for that. If the weather continues to improve and we get into 55 and 60 degrees, I'm very open to that. And I found a place at Springside Park in Pittsfield if people wanted to get together and practice. Okay, so I mean, we could potentially, and it depends on your sync, but we could potentially do one more stretch here. And oh, we could also do twisting. So turning to one side and just turning your upper body toward the, excuse me, toward the sink is a great twist. And we could have done that earlier. So you can experiment with that. Feet are forward, upper body faces the sink, and breathing. And then coming through center, turning the other way, and then just turning your upper body towards the sink. And you don't want to do this, you don't want to force anything here or push too hard. Another moment to just feel the twist if that's useful to you to do this. And then coming back to center. So one more stretch we could do here if you wanted to, and you can use a chair to do this too, but bringing the leg up and bringing it right onto the sink. So be very careful with your Achilles heel. So I tore both of mine when I was younger, and so I'm going to put a towel underneath my leg. So my leg is out to the side and my hips are facing forward, and just bringing the hand right onto the leg and lifting the left arm overhead. And breathing here. Beautiful. Bringing the left hand down to the side of the leg, the right arm can come alongside. And now we're turning the upper body and we're stretching over the outstretched leg. It's a little bit of a different stretch than the one we do when we're facing the bar head on. So taking another moment here. And then slowly lifting away and taking hold of your leg and lifting it off the sink. And then changing sides. So bringing the left leg up, the hips, hi. So the hips are turned forward. This is so interesting. Bringing the hand onto the leg or to the side. Right arm comes up overhead. We're keeping the upper body facing forward at first here. And making sure you're breathing. Feeling the stretch, inner thigh and the back of the leg. And then bringing the right hand down. Left hand can come to the leg or to the side, and dropping the head and chest down over the outstretched leg. Taking another moment here. And then slowly lifting away, taking hold of your leg. Make sure you lift it up off, don't slide it. And then coming back to center. Oh, right in front. Okay, so that's it for the kitchen workout. So if you'd like to join me again, you can join me in coming back to your mat or to whatever surface you're working on. I lent my mat to my daughter, so I don't have my mat today. So just coming to a seated position. And as you know, when we get back to the floor, we do plank pose to strengthen our bellies. So I'd like to offer that up as a possibility. I mean, you get to do whatever you want. I mean, you do in class too, but there's a little more peer pressure. But you're welcome to do this with me if you'd like. So we're coming onto our bellies, and then you can have your, I don't know if you can see me, but maybe you don't need, oh, there we go. So you can come onto your bellies. The hands are shoulder width apart, directly underneath the hips. And then when you're ready, turning the toes under, and for a count of 30 seconds, holding the plank pose. So breathing and holding, making sure you're pressing down into the arms from the elbow right to the fingertips. So every part of the arm is engaged. And drawing the belly in and breathing for 15 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And releasing down and taking a pause for a moment. And then when you're ready, if you'd like to join in, you're welcome to join in again for the harder and second 30 seconds. So you can turn your toes under, bring your legs away from the floor, and come into plank pose again. And you can tell that it's harder this time. See if you can really draw the belly in and hold as long as it works for you. Maybe 15 more. Wasn't counting. 10 more. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then releasing. And from here, you could turn onto your side and then onto your back. And bring your knees up. It never gets easier. Taking another moment. And then if you'd like, we should do, I think I'd like to do a little bit more core work. So when you're ready, you can make a little hammock for your head with your hands. Arms are wide open. So you're not lifting the head, you're just letting it rest back in the hands. I mean, the head is lifted off the floor, but you're not pulling it forward by the neck. Okay, and then the knees come up. And then when you're ready, extend the left leg and then the right. And back and forth. You don't have to go to touch. You may do that at the end, but just this is working the core, drawing the belly in. The core is getting worked here, even if you're not. A few more. How about 10 more? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then the knees come in and drawing The knees in towards the belly. And just taking a pause for a moment. And then, if you'd like, you could bring your feet down onto the floor. The feet are hip width apart. And from here, just begin to lift your hips away from the floor. You don't have to lift high. I hope you're seeing me. You don't have to lift high. Just lifting. You can walk your hands underneath you, walk your shoulder blades together, but that's not necessary. You can keep your hands separate and just lifting through the hips. The chin is tucked in here to lengthen the neck. And we're in, say, to Bandhasan, the bridge pose. Breathe here. Let the legs do the work, the buttocks do the work, everything else is relaxed. Face is relaxed, arms. Maybe your fingers are interlaced, but try not to grip. Taking another moment here to hold. And then opening the hands and releasing down. From here, extend the left leg down onto the floor. Arms come at shoulder height, bringing the right foot up onto the left knee and rolling onto your right side, left side. So the right leg crosses over the body. We're resting on the left side. You can place your left hand on the outside of the right knee, and you could turn your head to look over the right arm if you'd like. And just feeling the twist here. The twist is happening from the base of the spine all the way up to the neck if you're turning your head. And then releasing this side, coming back to center, extending the right leg down, bringing the left foot to the right knee, rolling onto the right side. Right hand comes to the outside of the leg if you'd like, and you can turn your head and look over the left arm. And breathing. And taking a final moment. And then gradually coming back to center. And taking a pause for a moment. You can have your knees up and dropped in towards one another, or you can have your legs extended. And just take a moment. Is there any other movement that your body would welcome right now? And you don't have to worry about what it looks like or what it is. You just feel free to respond. Another 2 or 3 breaths here. And then finding a position that would feel most comfortable for you for relaxation. So you can lie down on your back, or you can be on your side if that feels better, or on your belly. And I'm going to let you move into relaxation for however long you would like to relax. Maybe, seeing as you're not in a class and we don't have to move out of here, maybe you'd like to just rest on your back for a while. So by all means, I want to just take a moment to thank you all for viewing this video, Easy Does It Yoga with Cate Wolff, if you didn't know me. And hopefully you'll have some fun experimenting with places to do some of what we did earlier at the sink. Maybe you've got some other places that are perfect. If you happen to have a deck with a railing around it, that's a really awesome place to do this class. And there are places when you walk, there are benches, places where you could do a little workout if you so choose to. I'm going to try to put a video on the Berkshire Yoga Dance and Fitness website twice a week for Wednesday and Friday classes. And those of you who had registered for my class, I will be in touch with you just directly to talk about a few things. Okay, stay well, everybody. Sending you tons of blessings, and hope you're faring well and feeling well during this time. And I'm so grateful that we have this platform to continue to be together in this way. Blessings. Be well.